Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ross, and as always, here on Data Dash, our market review. Today, we're gonna have a specially dedicated section for crypto. I saw a lot of people asking, and I also understand that this is like a very interesting point. On one hand side, Ethereum ETF is starting to trade in the beginning of July. On the other hand side, market does not provide us a sense of any bullishness right now, and maybe that's a good moment to actually start accumulating while everyone is capitulating. We'll cover those in more details, and on top of that, at the end, I'll also indicate what is most important macroeconomical KPI that I am looking from now onwards every week, and start my week with that. With all that said, coming to the charts, we're gonna go and cover the dollar strength, giving me a little bit of a hard feelings here because dollar is still in a bullish uptrend. Bitcoin dominance still cannot get above this meme line, so maybe it provides a breather for the alts. We're gonna cover, of course, BTC, Euro, USD, as always, Ethereum itself. Most importantly, we're gonna spend more time today than on average on Bitcoin, and on top of that, we're gonna cover two altcoins, and I'll show you how to identify the gap and the difference in the market structure. And most importantly, I also want to outline today one of the simplest setup that I use related to the Monday range, how to trade any altcoin when it comes to the Monday range. With all that said, guys, stay tuned and we start. Despite the fact that we went long yesterday on both Ethereum and Bitcoin, it is still not, in my opinion, time to get really bullish. And the reason is following. First of all, BTO, the main indicator for the Wall Street, is still below our key level of 26. And I want to see the acceptance above here. But even if you don't go that far and just clearly look at Bitcoin chart, what I want to see here is following. We constantly keep printing lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, and that's the pattern I see on a lower time frame. Of course, on 1 hour, we're gonna see the higher time frames in a second, but as simply as it is, I want the change of character or a break of structure here to take place and structure like that to unfold from there onwards. So when it comes to low time frame, I'm expecting either the reversal and the change of character to take place from the level that would already indicate the higher low, or we print one more bullish divergent lower low around the area of 63,000, 63,200, and then the reverse. But please keep in mind, and this is very important, that this reversal is due to happen rather sooner than later, because when I go to the higher time frames, I still see that we are accepting in the areas I'm not happy about. And this is simply looking on the higher time frame on the daily. I see that we have the larger range. Of course, it's slightly subjective. You can move that line and communicate that, you know, that was a deviation, or someone would like to include it in the range. I don't think that was a range. I think that's perfectly in the manipulation that has been played when we lost the range and everyone started shorting. So I'm not including it personally into our range. I see the range around slightly like that. You know, we can already actually assume that the mid-range has been lost. So we are trying to kind of reclaim mid-range thanks to those actually lower time frame bounces, and hopefully they're gonna save us. On the other hand side, I am quite okay to see Bitcoin at 90k or at 40k, you know, for my game plan. Everything I will trade level by level. Nothing would, you know, put me into despair or into fear. But yeah, please keep in mind, I want the level of 65,000 to be held. This is super important here, that we are able to actually start grinding back into the upper half of the range where we are right now. Alternatively, all these divergences can be easily invalidated, and we do something like that, and then we get to revisit in summer the lower bands of this range around 59, 60,000, and then probably gonna have another attempt to kind of lure everyone into the idea that we're gonna lose this range. And also no one knows in advance, you know, if the buyers are not stepping in these levels, that we of course can go and also revisit the 50,000, 54,000, for example, and so, but let's not get that far. Let's not speculate so much. I'm just like giving you an idea that everything is possible. So for now, we want, of course, the LTF to save us, but we also keep in mind that for now, our move is not looking that strong. Now coming to Ethereum, I actually feel that since we're gonna start trading Ethereum ETF on the 2nd of July, which is just 2 weeks from now, I think you need to be more focused on ETH. And the reason for my thinking is also the relative Ethereum to Bitcoin chart that might be starting to reverse here. At least we are holding this zone of mine that has been indicated here for months quite well. And we're almost above to accept, almost kind of accepting above 5.4%, which is this yellow line here. So I'd like to see a couple of 4-hour candle closures more here, and then I would consider that this is actually the continuation to the upside, that we reclaim that range, we reclaim that zone, and we have the bullish market structure in place where we probably might deviate a bit, but I would like to see something like that. On Ethereum BTC, for Ethereum itself, is very interesting here. We're gonna spend a little bit more time on Ethereum chart. Once again, everything is relatively simple if you approach it from the right place and without any rush. So first of all, what I would do is to identify the ranges. That was our previous range, and this is our current range. So are we holding this range for now? Yes, we do. Moreover, within that range, we have the smaller range that has been forming for the last week or 10 days. So you always can go and zoom in a little bit. And what do we see here? That we bounced from the lows and then we came to revisit those lows. And what I like to see here, the bounce from the previous range that is aligned with the swipe from the people who went long, but then market decided that those longs are not gonna go on the way up. So market maker provisionally kicked out on them. The position triggered those stop loss just $10, $20 below the previous low. And now what I would target 1, target 2, and of course you can also put your Fibonacci extension and target even the higher targets like 1618. That will coincide roughly with the area around 4,800, somewhere here. So that's our 1618 from this current range. Shall we pull the Fibonacci? Yeah, let's do that quickly. From the bottom of the range all the way to the top, and then 1618 is 4,620. Okay, a little bit below 4,800. Doesn't matter, of course, if we start seeing this, you know, low time frame grinding here that we can't accept above, we take profit, even if it's 4,480, right? It's all about indications of the zone. It doesn't mean that it has to touch that number exactly. No one owns you anything, especially the Mr. Market. So what it shows me here, it shows me that, first of all, I am considering accumulating more Ethereum as soon as we are still holding that range. So we, of course, have our stinky bit targets around 3,100. Like if we could not, probably the next area of the beads would come from this order block. So yeah, we are ready to accumulate more in 3,100. But for now, and that's the reason why we went long yesterday, exactly here in a very low, with a very, very tiny stop loss, as I showed in the Telegram alert group. The reason for that was one of those trades that you can easily run yourself, and I'm gonna show that to you. It's a very simple way of trading when you identify your Monday range, and if your Monday low on Tuesday, for example, or on Wednesday is being lost, and then we start accepting above the Monday low, then you can put your low of that day. In our case, it's Tuesday. Let's highlight it with the long tool so it's easier to see. You would target your low, you would put a stop loss there. Of course, once again, it's all about acceptance. If you start, you're accepting below those levels, no need to wait for your stop loss to get hit. You can get out of the trade a bit earlier, and then you target your Monday mid, which is 3,550, TP1, TP2, Monday high 3,640. It's a very simple way of trading. I'm not trading this way very often, but if you're just starting your journey, it's one of the strategies that would rather work than not. It has more than 60% win rate in case you understand how low time frame works. So then you don't have to only look at 4 hour. You can go on 15-minute time frame, and you can see if market structure is respected. If we are not, for example, here starting to accept back above, doing something like that, you don't want that. So if you're able to understand that, and this is a good tool to trade, and this risk reward here would be almost 3 to 1 or 2.75 to 1. I consider it to be a good trade. This indicator I've been showing, it's called Spaceman BTC. Thanks to that guy who actually programs really nice and mostly important free indicators. You can all go there, has a bunch of things to set up. You can also keep it as it is, but you can also advance it and indicate various zones later on with experience, and I would reveal those. We would go also through the trading sessions like the Brinks, how London and New York, for example, overlap, what happens there. For now, you don't need that. You just simply can wait for the Monday range to form and from there onwards act. And this is the reason why I'm always reminding you guys, Mondays are not the best days for trading. Let the Monday range form, and then you already can formulate your thesis from there. And now, of course, you can ask me probably, okay, Russ, but what should I do? Should I enter here? Should I enter at 3,100? Or what happens if I'm gonna front run? Will it be set for me? Well, let's start with looking at heat maps. If I'm gonna look at a 1 month, which is like normally longer term time frame, then we definitely see there's more liquidity towards the high, or there is liquidity also around 3,100. That's the reason why you want to have the beats there. But if I'm going more like to 7-day time frame, I see, well, yeah, this zone, it's not so much sense to visit anything between 3,400 and 3,600. On the 12-hour chart, there is still some liquidity around 3,400. So what I would do, it's not that straightforward. You know, sometimes you get conflicting information and it's very okay. And then you look on Coin Analyze and you see also there is no anomalies in place, so to say. I see that the bid is quite sustained with the spot move. We are in a market structure, very bullish market structure. We are not accepting below. I don't want to see, you know, something like that, the chop around here. So we are not losing those lows. So everything looks good so far. And for those reasons, I would already potentially start bidding here, but keep my bids cascaded all the way down to 3,400. And if we are not able to accept above, take that liquidity and start grinding up, then it's fine to close at break even, because if you DCA from now, you'll be around the break even, and then we will see, okay, market is not feeling very confident, then probably that lower liquidity at 3,100 is going to be revisited. No one knows the things for sure. So yeah, I can definitely tell you that sooner you understand it, better it will be for your P&L, for your trading career, also for your mental balance and so on. I saw one person in the comment telling me, oh, you're telling exactly what to do because you don't know. Yes, no one knows, and that's how we play this game of probability. And trust me, when everyone knows, there is an overcrowded trade and something is wrong here. So for all the all-knowing people, that's hi to you. When it comes to alts, I understand that a lot of people would have the question, what should I do with my alts? Well, in kinda, of course, whatever you put the range low line, we either gonna start accepting, this is the total 3 chart, right? So we either gonna start accepting and doing something like towards this meme line. Once again, total 3 is not something you can directly trade. So those meme lines, I'm fine with them being there, you know, it's the chart that is indirect. So yeah, in that case, I would consider that the alts would definitely give us a good bounce. It's at least 10% on total 3. So some alts could easily do 20-25%. We're going to look at into those in a second. However, if again 1-2 day passes and we are like grinding here and printing there's like lower highs, then yeah, then probably total 3 wants to go all the way to that range. And that's why also no need to be a hero just now and filling your entire all the bags expecting that it's up only mode. Well, the reason I'm a little bit cautious is also because on one hand side, DXY is struggling to go above here. But as you remember, and I indicated last Friday, DXY has broke the character, that this bearish character of this move has been broken. So now we are in a bullish uptrend. You have printed the higher high. So I don't want also to rush over and make unpredictable moves and then see that the dollar is going all the way strongly to 105. And as we discussed, the reason for this strong dollar move is also one of the facts contributing to that is that the Federal Reserve decided not to cut the interest rate. So if you're sitting on a pile of cash right now, where you want to be, in euro, in Canadian dollar, or in the US dollar, you want to be in US dollar because it's still kind of a safe haven asset that on top of that is paying the yield, which is significantly higher. Even the gap is even higher than it was before. It was already significantly higher, but right now when European Central Bank and Canadian Central Bank have cut their rates over the last 2 weeks, that this disparity, this gap, and we are talking here about dozens of trillions of dollars, right? So those are contributing to billions of dollars on interest that would not be collected in case people don't move to dollar. So yeah, that of course give dollar more strength. Let's have a look at USD here. I'm quite happy that actually we are holding that range that has been here. Forex is quite a predictable move, provide us predictable moves very often because there is not much of fundamentals, and it's all just currencies, that are being debased by their governments. So very often they really trend according to the patterns. That's sometimes that's why a lot of people actually start trading with forex, because it's just like a bit less sophisticated, in my opinion. So you have that manipulation, then you had a bounce, and right now we are about to print potentially, once again potentially, it's one of the assumptions, the higher low. And in case euro goes to the upper range, then it would be a good 2% move. Of course, since euro contributes mostly to the dollar basket, 50% plus, then this 2% would be providing an incredible relief in the risk on assets. So you, in my opinion, should observe the chart more often than not. Euro USD is something you start your trading day with. Now, coming to the individual charts themselves. For example, if we're gonna look on DOT, we see that we have lost the range. So of course, there can be a number of bounces, and on 1 hour, we are almost looking like we're gonna break the character of that move, and we're gonna turn into the potentially bullish upside move. So while we start accepting into the range, I would target the range high, but I also want to see what happens from here, because that might be also just the SFP, the swipe of the liquidity for all the people who are who started shorting from here on the way to go even lower. I don't expect that to be a move. I'm just outlining the probability. I think the probability of that is 25-30%. The probability of an up move is higher. I would expect something like that to happen, but I'm still not very interesting to get chopped while we are not able to accept into the range, because normally what happens on those kind of moves is that you're actually shorting from the loss of the range, not longing those micro moves. So something like that can also be a good play, especially if I look at the daily and if I'm gonna see all the imbalances that we have here previously. It can be also a nice move to target those lows, right? So this is something to outline potentially if we are not able to accept within the range. And I can go altcoin by altcoin, of course. We're not going to have time for all of them. But what's important that you go on 1 hour and you see where the strength is. And it is very simple. I explain it multiple times in the Telegram group. If we lose the particular range and the way we bounce back is already providing you a lot of inputs of how the altcoin, this versus that, going to behave. For example, this is the LTF low time frame structure. On hourly, we are on Filecoin. And just to compare this is Cosmos Atom. Which one looks more bullish, right? This is, of course, Atom, but I also want to indicate during those huge liquidation cascades, I want to see the acceptance into that range. So I want that one more push up, and then I would consider this entire move here as a manipulation, and then I am happy to let it accept in the previous zone and trend all the way up, right? So it's very important for me at this point to teach you how I take those decisions, because obviously you can scroll through internet and find multiple altcoins that you'd like to trade yourself, but it's important that you understand the logic behind all of those. And for those who wants to trade alts, I remind once again that probably it's not the best thing to fully open the position at a level with a max size. Please still dollar cost average. Even if you're adding higher to the winning trade, there is no problem. I personally also like decentralized exchanges for multiple reasons, because I don't have to put all my liquidity to the particular platform. I can connect my wallet, execute a few trades, close the profit into USDT, and disconnect my wallet, right? So there is on top of decentralization also the security benefit that I enjoy, and on top of that I love to pick up the exchanges with the very good liquidity, and one of them is actually D-Gate, because D-Gate provides you a very low slippage. If you see, for example, not just Ethereum pair, but all the pairs that are present here are providing you ability to trade anything you want. I mean, from meme coins, but also top 50, DeFi, AI, oracles, any narrative, and liquidity is very good. So in that case, consider giving it a go. I am leaving the link in the description down below for those who wants to try. Today is a holiday or day off in New York Stock Exchange, so wishing all my American friends to enjoy their day off. For other, it's important that we keep in mind unemployment claims come on Thursday, and unemployment claims is something which, in my opinion, in the macro world where we're going to move right now from CPI to CPI, it's going to indicate if market would go spooky or not. Simply said, if unemployment claims are keep coming higher than the forecast, higher than the expectation, it can give the hint to the market that Fed was a little bit too late with their cuts and the recession is getting more and more prominent. So the Goldilocks scenario is slightly getting off the table, and then people start to do the profit taking around. And that can, of course, indicate a potential sell-off for the risk-on assets. If Nvidia and thus Nasdaq, I don't know if you know or not, but like 30% of the Nasdaq move has been just driven by Nvidia this year. So obviously when those things start to correct, I'm not saying they're starting to correct yet, my Nvidia target is still above 250, 280. Like, I think the Wall Street is still sleeping on the AI revolution. They're not understanding that Nvidia is not a leader or a pioneer of AI movement. Nvidia owns that movement. But yeah, keeping that aside, I want to just highlight the potentiality of another scenario, which is a recession, and unemployment claims as the main driver for that. There's not so many people talking about those, especially in the crypto world. So please be mindful when you're playing the risky game on alts to keep that one advice of Ross in mind. Unemployment claims, those boring unemployment claims, go to Forex Factory, check them once a week and see if they're starting to get higher and higher and higher, the market would get scared. With all that said, guys, I wish you an amazing day off for those who are in the US, an amazing day for those who are in other parts of the world. We're gonna speak on Friday and we're gonna cover more also the stock market. We didn't have time for those today. Much love and see you soon. Bye.